You've heard the why, you've heard the how. This video is the part that's harder to put into a checklist. What it actually feels like to walk Hadrian's Wall. The landscapes, the ruins, the people you meet, the meals at the end of a long day, and what happens to your head when you slow all the way down. This is a video where it either clicks for you or it doesn't. Here's what I didn't fully appreciate before I went. This trail doesn't look the same 2 days in a row. Every morning you set out and the view is different. Different light, different terrain, different sky. Some days you're walking through open moorland with nothing but wind and the wall stretching out ahead of you. Other days you're dropping into a village, passing a farm, following a river, and then there are the animals, sheep everywhere. They are basically fellow hikers at this point. Horses, cows, you're sharing the path with actual livestock, and somehow that just adds to it. Now, the weather. Let's be real about this. Northern England does whatever it wants. We had hot sunny days, we had cold windy days, and yes, we had rain. One day it rained from the moment we set out to the moment we arrived. All day. No breaks, and you know what? You just walk. You put on your rain gear, you keep going, and it becomes part of the story. Honestly, that day ended up being one of the most memorable. The rolling countryside is genuinely beautiful in a way that photographs don't quite capture, because you're in it, not looking at it through a window. Whatever the weather hands you, you're present for it. That daily reset, new ground, new views, new things to notice, never got old. It was honestly one of my favorite parts of the whole experience. And then there's the history. I knew the wall was old. I didn't expect it to feel the way I did. Walking along Roman ruins that have been standing since 122 AD, mile forts, turrets, stretches of the wall itself. There's something quietly staggering about it. And here's the thing that really got me. Some of these ruins are just sitting on someone's farm. They've been there for 2,000 years and they're just part of the property, part of the landscape. The farmer goes about his day, the sheep graze around them, and there's a Roman fort in the corner of the field. That matter-of-factness somehow makes it even more powerful. Nobody's rushing you past it. There's no audio tour playing in your ear. You just walk through it at your own pace and let that sink in. That kind of unhurried encounter with history is hard to find anywhere else, and it's something this trail does better than almost any museum ever could. The towns and villages along the route are a big part of what makes this feel like a real journey rather than just a workout. They're small, they're charming, and the people are genuinely warm, especially toward walkers. There's a shared understanding along this trail. The locals know what you're doing, they respect it, and more than once someone pointed us in the right direction, or just smiled and said, "Nearly there." Those small moments add up, but here's something worth factoring into your planning. There are things along the way that will stop you in your tracks. Museums, Roman forts, historical sites, some of them right there on the path, others just a short detour off it, and you're going to want to explore them. This is actually one of the reasons we chose the 9-day itinerary over a faster one. Fewer miles per day meant we had breathing room to stop, wander, and spend time in places that pulled us in without feeling like we were falling behind. Don't rush this. That's the whole point of doing it on foot rather than from a tour bus. You have the freedom to linger. Some of the best moments of the whole trip happened when we weren't walking at all. By the end, it didn't feel like we'd passed through. It felt like we'd been part of something. Let's talk about food, because you will earn every single meal on this trail and enjoy it accordingly. And I want to be clear, the food on this trip is genuinely, surprisingly wonderful. Mornings could mean a full homemade spread, fresh croissants, homemade jam, overnight oats, bacon, sausage, the works. The kind of breakfast that makes you linger at the table longer than you probably should. On the trail, it's packed lunches, simple, practical, exactly what you need to keep going. And evenings, sometimes a pub, sometimes a dinner pre-ordered ahead with your B&B. Either way, the quality of food along this route consistently impressed us. Some of those B&B dinners I'd put up against a Michelin-starred restaurant without hesitation. Fresh, personal, cooked with care. And then this is the part that always surprises people. Some of these places have cocktail bars. You walk in tired, you clean up, and suddenly you're sipping a cocktail before a beautiful dinner. It sounds too good to be true for a hiking trip. It is completely, wonderfully true. There is something about the combination of a stunning meal, a warm room, a drink in hand, and 10 miles behind you that is honestly hard to beat. You're not roughing it out there, not even close. Something nobody really warned me about was what walking this slowly for this many days does to your head. When you strip away the noise, no commute, no inbox, no scrolling, you end up with a lot of time to think. Not in an anxious way, in a good way. Long stretches of trail where it's just you, your feet, and whatever your mind wants to work through. Some days, my friend and I talked the whole way. Other days, we walked quietly, and that was equally fine. There's a rhythm to it that feels almost meditative, even when you're not trying. And the effect didn't stop when the trip ended. I came home more motivated to work out than I'd been in years. Having a real goal, something physical and meaningful to train toward, reminded me why I love moving my body in the first place. I've worked out consistently most of my life, but sometimes you have to mix it up to remember why you started. This trip did that for me. One thing that really struck me was the people. Walkers on the trail come from all over the world. Singles, couples, groups, families, men, women, all ages. On any given day, you might fall into step with someone from a completely different country, background, walk of life. And yet there's this immediate common ground. Everyone is there for the same reason, to respect this history, to fully experience it, to earn it on foot. That shared intention creates something between people that doesn't need to be said out loud. An unspoken understanding, a nod on the trail that means more than it looks like. I didn't expect that sense of global community in the middle of the English countryside, and it turned out to be one of the most quietly beautiful parts of the whole experience. And if you go with a friend, which I'd highly recommend for a first time, be prepared for your relationship to deepen in ways you didn't expect. When you're walking 10 miles a day together, day after day, there's nowhere to hide. You have to be honest. Honest about when you need to stop. Honest about when you need quiet. Honest about when you need to talk. Honest about when you just need 5 minutes to yourself. And that kind of honesty, that willingness to say, I need a break without it being a whole thing, builds something between two people that a weekend trip or a dinner out never really could. You rely on each other out there in a really simple, real way. I came home with a deeper friendship than I left with, and I didn't expect that to be part of what I was signing up for. When we reached Bonus on Solway at the end of the last day, there was no dramatic moment, no tears, no jumping up and down. Well, maybe a little bit. Just a deep, quiet satisfaction. The kind you feel in your whole body. We walked across a country. We'd done what we set out to do, one day at a time. And standing there at the end, I wasn't thinking about how hard it had been. I was already thinking about where I wanted to walk next. If any part of these 3 videos has made you think, maybe, I'd encourage you to sit with that. You don't have to be a seasoned hiker. You don't have to have it all figured out before you book. You just have to be someone who likes doing something new, something a little different, something that pushes you in the best possible way. The wall will do the rest. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out there.